A car crashes into the Chinese consulate in San Francisco. Its driver shot dead by police. Israel vows to impose a complete siege on the Gaza Strip as airstrikes continue. And the government will work with the transport sector to improve efficiency during adverse weather conditions. Good evening and welcome to TVB News. Police officers fatally shot the driver of a vehicle that plowed through the Chinese consulate in San Francisco and into the lobby of the building's visa office on Monday. The identity of the driver and build-up to the incident remain unclear. The consulate condemned the attack as the Foreign Ministry urged U.S. authorities to carry out an investigation promptly and take effective measures to ensure the safety of Chinese diplomatic missions. Daniel Rao reports.
A car rammed into the Chinese consulate in San Francisco at around 3 p.m. local time on Monday, coming to a stop in the lobby and creating a chaotic scene that ended with the police shooting the driver, who later died in hospital. The police said the identity of the motorist and what precipitated the crash were not yet known, and that investigations were ongoing.
We don't have any information about the suspect at this time. Of course, this is a unique investigation because it did happen inside the lobby of the Chinese consulate. So there's a number of agencies and jurisdictions that are involved. So this is far different than our normal officer-involved shooting, which really does unfortunately impact the amount of information that we can give to you at this time.
The spokesperson added the police didn't know why the vehicle crashed into the building or how many people were inside at the time, but said they didn't have reports of other injuries. The consulate stated it strongly condemns the violent attack and reserves the right to pursue responsibility for the incident, and would temporarily close its consular certificate hall from the 10th of October, adding it would inform the public when services will resume. In Beijing, the Foreign Ministry commented on the incident, saying China strongly urges the US to carry out an investigation promptly. Furthermore, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin called for Washington to take effective measures to ensure the safety of Chinese diplomatic missions and personnel at the consulate. The consulate has twice been targeted with arson attacks in the past. The last such incident took place in 2014 when a man drove a van to the consulate before pouring gasoline outside the facility and setting it ablaze. In 2008, a security gate at the back of the consulate was also set on fire. Dunwell, TV News.
Israeli warplanes continue to pound sites in the Gaza Strip today, 3 days after an attack on Israeli territory by Hamas fighters. The death toll from the unprecedented infiltration is estimated at 1,600, with at least 900 from the Israeli side. Israel's Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has vowed a complete siege on Gaza and urged Palestinians inside the blockaded region to flee. Israel's military said it had found the bodies of about 1,500 Hamas fighters in Israeli territory, adding it has gained control of the border areas that were overrun. Nasri Karim has more.
Palestinians riding a cart pulled by a donkey. Others on foot, carrying mattresses, children, and whatever belongings they can manage. All fleeing this. Israel's continuous bombardment of sites in the Gaza Strip in retaliation for Saturday's attack on Israel by fighters from the Hamas party that rules the region. Israel has vowed to impose a complete siege on the already blockaded Gaza Strip, cutting off food, water, fuel and medical supplies to the population of 2.3 million. Palestinians have received calls and voice messages on their mobile devices, urging them to evacuate the northern and eastern territories of Gaza. Tens of thousands have taken refuge in shelters provided by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine, while many are heading towards the Egyptian border of Rafah. This as Israel mobilizes 300,000 reservists for what many believe could be a ground offensive aimed at completely wiping out Hamas and its ability to govern. The United States, which provides $3.8 billion worth of military aid to Israel every year, said it has sent fresh supplies of air defenses, munitions and security assistance to Tel Aviv. The US said 11 of its citizens died in Saturday's attacks, and others may be among the estimated 150 hostages captured by Hamas fighters as they withdrew into Gaza after breaching the Israeli border. Hamas has threatened to execute one Israeli hostage every time Israel bombs a civilian home in Gaza without warning and broadcasts the act as proof. Hamas's attack has largely drawn condemnation from Western governments. The US, Britain, France, Germany and Italy also issued a joint statement recognizing the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people and supporting equal measures of justice and freedom for Israelis and Palestinians. Hamas and many Palestinians, including those in the West Bank, say they have had enough of Israel's Gaza blockade, harassment by Israeli soldiers and attacks by illegal settlers, who they say are free to act with impunity. Nazvi Karim, TVB News.
Supporters of Israel and the Palestinians held rallies in various cities, including Toronto, Canada, Sydney, Australia and New York City. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau described the pro-Palestinian rallies as glorifying Hamas violence, while Palestinian protesters say Israel is at the root of the problem. In Australia, as the Sydney Opera House lit up in Israeli colours, police were investigating accusations of anti-Semitic slogans at a pro-Palestine demonstration. The protest organizer defended their right to demonstrate against apartheid Israel while condemning a small number of vile anti-Semitic attendees. Trudeau joined a solidarity gathering for Israel on Monday, condemning Hamas, which is listed in Canada as a terrorist organization. This as some 1,000 protesters gathered in a demonstration organized by a group known as Palestinian Youth Movement.
The glorification of death and violence and terror has no place anywhere, including and especially here in Canada. So let me be very clear. Hamas terrorists aren't a resistance. They're not freedom fighters. They are terrorists, and no one in Canada should be supporting them, much less celebrating them.
All what we ask is to apply international law and to implement the international implementing orders, and to have two states. One Palestinian state to have the right for determination and to live in peacefully side by Israel. We need to have our dignity, our own state, and to live in peace.
Meanwhile, the Hong Kong government has received requests for assistance from 28 Hong Kongers in Israel. Chief Executive John Lee said 5 of them have returned home, while 15 others have already left Israel.
We have issued this red travel alert for Israel. For the rest, we are in touch with them. Based on their need, we provide suitable arrangement. We will keep an eye on the developments there. We will also work with the local staff there.
Chief Executive John Lee said today the government will work with the transport sector to improve efficiency during adverse weather conditions. The comment came after the public transport system was left almost paralyzed during Typhoon Koinu, affecting thousands of travelers trying to leave Hong Kong International Airport. Mimosa Ngai has more.
On Sunday evening, the observatory issued the increasing gale or storm signal number 9 as Typhoon Koinu edged close to Hong Kong. The number 9 signal lasted about 5 hours. Speaking ahead of today's Executive Council meeting, Chief Executive John Lee said the authorities had learned from past extreme weather experiences and provided the latest storm forecast information to the public as quickly as possible. In response to comments that the authorities failed to inform the public early enough before changing the number 8 signal to a number 9, the CE said the observatory had done its best despite limitations with existing technology. However, the CE acknowledged it was far from ideal in view of the thousands of travelers who had to spend hours waiting for taxis at the airport under the number 9 signal.
I have asked the Transport and Logistics Bureau to examine this together with MTRC and also Airport Authority, as well as the transportation sector. What I hope to achieve is a contingency plan which will deal with extreme situation involving need for emergency transportation.
Lawmaker Michael Tien stressed the importance of improving the transport infrastructure under extreme weather conditions.
I'm going to push forward in LegCo that over a period of years, all the open space section of MTR's line should be fully enclosed. Technically, it can be done. It's all a matter of money. And I think that is something that is important. And all these years, we were just lucky. Nothing happened and nobody got trapped in a car.
Tien added the authorities should prioritize the construction of rail track canopies for the Airport Express. Musin 9, TVB News.
A panel appointed by the Governing Council of the University of Hong Kong is looking into anonymous allegations made against the university's president, Zhang Xiang. Chief Executive John Lee, who is also the Chancellor of HKU, says he's confident there will be a good conclusion from the investigation, and he has asked the public to stop making speculations.
It is important for people to know that it will be in everybody's interest that we'll do a thorough investigation that will be based on facts. And the whole matter should be handled in a fair and impartial manner. And I trust that if anything that is done based on facts, then self-speculation or otherwise accusations which are based on individual feelings will not help the whole matter. I have confidence that the Hong Kong University can deal with this matter as internal university management matter.
Still ahead on tonight's news. The West Kowloon Cultural District Authority reports an annual deficit for the 5th consecutive year. And licenses for local biotech companies to produce cell and gene products. Dozens of Malaysians freed from a phone scam syndicate in Peru. Welcome back to TVB News. The West Kowloon Cultural District Authority recorded a deficit last year for the 5th consecutive year at $718 million. That's a decrease of around 10% year on year. The body said its adjustments on expenses achieved results, but estimates of cash flow drying up by 2025 have not changed. Timothy Lee tells us more.
The latest announcements made by the West Kowloon Cultural District Authority revealed concerning financial figures for the artistic cultural project site. Between 2022 and 2023, the statutory body recorded a loss of $718 million, but that's around $62 million less than between 2021 and 2022. The district authority said losses have already decreased by around 50% compared to earlier predictions after it tightened expenses. With the city having returned to normality and reopened its borders, there has been a noticeable increase in visitors to the West Kowloon Cultural District. The district authority noted over 4 million people visited its M+ Museum, Palace Museum, and other performance arenas this year. Performances for retail, food and beverage, as well as venue rental businesses also surpassed expectations, with the commercial lease revenue experiencing an over threefold growth year on year. The area's commercial floor space had been almost fully leased out. Total revenue rose by over 4 times on a yearly basis, reaching about $550 million. But the cultural district remains mired in financial turmoil.
Betty Fung,
the chief executive officer of West Kowloon Cultural District Authority, said most exhibits capable of generating income for the cultural district are not yet available. She added despite the measures taken, predictions indicated funds will run dry by 2025. This, as lawmaker Priscilla Leung noted, the deficit was directly caused by the district authority's incompetence. The West Kowloon Cultural District earlier said it had submitted a budget proposal to relevant authorities and is awaiting their review. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
The government has for the first time issued licenses to biotechnology companies researching advanced therapy to produce locally made cell and gene products. Production times are expected to be cut significantly, while prices will be half of overseas options. The hospital authority began using advanced therapy as a method to treat diseases such as cancer in recent years, but the medication was purchased mainly from abroad. This as a local biotech company that registered to make advanced therapy products 3 years ago finally received its license this year. With locations at Science Park and Kwun Tong, the company's lab had successfully manufactured the first batch of T cells targeting cancer, as well as the first stem cells aimed at the South China population. The company said it hopes to further cooperate with private and public hospitals in the future. Amid controversy over whether part of the Fanling golf course should be used to build public housing and international tournament, the Aramco Team Series took place at the golf course over the weekend. The CEO of Gulf Saudi explained on TVB Straight Talk program why Hong Kong was chosen to host the event and how golf can help promote business opportunities for the city. As the debate continues over whether the city's only golf course that meets the international standard should be sliced up to help ease housing shortage, the government has taken back part of the Fanling site. Last weekend, the government leased the reclaimed land to the Hong Kong Golf Club on a short-term basis to host the Aramco Team Series, an international event that features both professional and amateur women golfers. Noah Ali Reza, CEO of Gulf Saudi, explained why Hong Kong was chosen as the venue for the event.
It's a 5-series event and generally taking place in financial capital cities of the world. And Saudi Arabia having had strong relationships with Hong Kong from a business perspective for such a long time, it's only natural to have such a tournament in such a setting.
After the Aramco Team Series, another Saudi international event will be coming to Hong Kong in December. The Future Investment Initiative Institute will hold its inaugural Priority Asia Summit in the SAR. Participants will discuss key issues under socio-economic changes and the current geopolitical climate. The Hong Kong government has promised to provide support.
If you look at golf and business, there is an intrinsic link between the two. While the Aramco Team Series objective is the growth of women in sports, there's also potential of events becoming a platform for business. A business opportunity that leads to job creation, that leads to local content, that leads to inward-outward investment.
Ian Gardner, General Manager of the Hong Kong Golf Club, which hosted the Aramco Team Series, also spoke on the Straight Talk program.
I believe this event was broadcast to over 100 countries around the world and many hundreds of millions of households. So it was a huge reach and a wonderful opportunity to really showcase what Hong Kong can do as an events capital in Asia.
Gardner also said the gold and bronze medals won by Hong Kong golfers at the Asian Games could help promote the sport.
We expect to see a big uptake and interest in the game, and we will do whatever we can through our outreach activities into schools and all of the work that we do with the Hong Kong Golf Association to further develop the game and inspire other children to achieve great results.
China's Coast Guard says it drove away a Philippine Navy gunboat today after it intruded into waters around the Scarborough Shoal, or called Huangyan Island in China, in the South China Sea. The Coast Guard said it took necessary measures such as forcing the gunboat out and controlling its route. This after the Philippine gunboat was said to have ignored repeated dissuasion and warnings from the Chinese side. The incident comes a day after China warned the Philippines against further provocations at an atoll in the South China Sea. Beijing said such acts had violated Chinese territorial sovereignty, contravened international law and disrupted regional peace and stability. Last month, the Philippine Coast Guard said it had cut a floating barrier installed by China that blocked access to the disputed area. Malaysian police revealed that 43 Malaysians freed from a phone scam syndicate in Peru were young people who arrived there a week earlier. Malaysian Police Chief Razaruddin Hussein told the media that it's the first such trafficking case in Peru involving Malaysians. He said the 26 women and 17 men arrived in Peru on September 29th. They were fortunate to have been freed on Saturday after Peruvian police raided a house in the capital Lima. The police chief added 3 of the Malaysians are just 18 and the oldest in the group is 36. Razaruddin said the victims left Malaysia legally and that police were still investigating details of how they were recruited and how they ended up in Peru. The Malaysian Foreign Ministry said the 43 victims were in good condition and would be repatriated once investigations in Lima were completed. That's the news. Thanks for watching.